And there we go, playing our new intro for What the Fuck Tuesday. I decided to, use it again because I would like to, kind of help promote that show more and get more people's participation. And of course, the more variety of letters that we have, the more fun it is, as everyone can attest. It's good to see everybody so late, y'all. Did you guys get a nap? I sure did. I only slept about an hour, but I thought it was very helpful. I got my wine. And look at this. Found something. I go to like this 99, well, it's like this discount grocery store, and they had this water, and it's got it's called Blossom water. It's got jasmine, plum in it, and it's 10 calories. It's supposed to boost immunity, and it was two for $1. So I got a whole bunch of them. I figured the worst it could be is, not that great, but it's actually pretty good. So I might scoop by there tomorrow and see if I can get some more. But yeah, well, we got some good, I want to talk to you guys. Of course, we'll go into some things that you want to talk about. So if you, have something on in mind that you want to ask me, um, then like if it's an advice question, we're asking for a $10 super chat donation, $9.99, $10, whatever, and I'll answer your question right here, right now. Um, she don't know, she might be on a date. But otherwise, we're going to talk about whatever, other topic you want to talk about men and dating and whatever, like topics, not a specific question. And then I have some stuff I want to share with you about how I choose the men that I'm going to sleep with, and I have very rarely made a wrong guess. Now there have been some, but so I fine tuned my list. So where it is now, it's pretty good. So I'm glad you guys are here. Remember, this is a chat for women and for a mature audience. Oh, there she is. I was just telling, I said, well, I think Lady Boss is on a date, but I guess not. She done told dude, just hold up. I got something to do. But yeah, oh no, I'm gonna be giving you details. Yes, I have wine. Everybody got their adult beverage. This is some, what is this I got? I went to Bevmo from all my donations. It's called Sand Point. It's a family vineyard in Lodi, California. This is Sauvignon Blanc. This is what I got. So it's not like that's an advertisement. I'm just showing you what I'm drinking. So I'm sure we have a variety of stuff going on out there. Oh, you got some lime mint elderberry. Okay, what is all this fancy stuff? I feel healthier just hearing about it. You have water. Ash. Well, let us start. Let us start because the reason why this show came about, I forgot how we got on the topic, but I was telling, I was kind of sharing how you can tell when a man's wonk wonk is gonna be trash. You can tell. I mean, just like I can tell anyway. You could there's a lot of things that I look at and listen to and observe, about how he conducts himself and stuff. And I wanted to show to, kind of run those by you. Am I saying that this is 100% accurate? I'm not doing that. I'm not making no guarantees. I'm just telling you these are my screening tools. And, as I've developed them over the years, this is not the list I started with. And as I've developed them over the years, kind of fine tuned it and eliminated the dudes that was like, kind of mediocre or sometimey, and just fine tuned it on the ones that's going, to be like monsters. That's what I like. Don't let this little face fool you. All these little dimples and big eyes and stuff. Mm-mm. This is the front. Diet green tea. Okay, what is all of this? I said adult beverages, and these people done stopped at 7-Eleven. Got them some stuff. So let's talk about this. I made a few notes because I want to make sure I stayed on topic. You know me. I'll go wandering all around and come back through China and back through India and then all over the place. So I want to, I wanted to talk about this. Okay, now one of the first things that I look at. And keep in mind, this is the whole picture. A guy might be lacking in one of these areas, and still be like okay with a little energy and stuff. But I have found that a guy who has all of this in intact is what I call he's monster level guant guant. Okay, he's just monster, and that's the kind where you just be sprung and oh well, you can do my what's my what you call it, Lady Boss, my what's that thing? Cash App. You can do a Cash App, Princess. Um, if that's easier, just let me know because I don't even know where my phone is, so I can't really check it right now. But we'll just go. We'll just trust you. Thank you, Mary Elizabeth. I take good care of my skin. I have since I've been in my 20s. And so this is the result. And y'all can do the same thing. Yes, I am, Bumblebee. Butterwood melted my mouth. You're confusing me with someone else. All right, let's talk about this. Okay, now, of course, we're going to start with the seven senses, sight, smell, taste, those kind of things. Let me kind of go over some of those. Because what I'm basically doing is judging a man's sensuality, and that basically sensual means ability to use their seven human senses. Some people say five, but it's really, I say seven. And if a guy is in tune with himself and in tune with the outside of himself, then he's going to be able to. Thanks, Leandra. Oh, look at her. She's doing big things. He's going to be able to. He's going to just deal with you in a different way. It's going to be every time that you're around him, it's going to be like exciting. And I don't mean like exciting like riding one of those crazy rides that, like Great America or some theme park. I mean exciting in where your heartbeat, they say it makes your heart flutter. And there's an energy that comes between the two of you. I know this sounds weird, but I'm telling you guys, this happens. And when you just be around him, thanks, Princess. When you be around him, it's almost like you could feel electricity between the two of you. And I swear I have felt it. It's scary sometimes because it's just like shocking and surprising. And I'm telling you, when that shit meets in the bedroom, there's some fireworks like out of this world. So let's start with with their sense of sight. With and most people, the guys are so they're into themselves, right? So they're not really paying too much attention to what's going on around them. They're not paying attention to you. A man, now there's, of course, the guys who are the narky player types are going to be like examining you like a bug under a microscope, but they're looking at you for a different reason. Okay, they're not really looking at you to enjoy you as a woman and you as a person and you as an energy so they can remember things about you because they're just so intrigued with you. Theirs is toxic. Okay, there's a difference. This guy is going to be just like fascinated by you. He's like he can't get enough of you. He wants to talk to you and he asks you questions and tries to get an idea of how you think. And then as far as his eyes go, he notices things about you. He notices like, how you do stuff like you might do I have a habit where you blow your hair up out of your face or you tilt behind your ear a certain way or um I don't know, some little face that you always make before somebody that you don't really like talks to you on the phone and stuff, little things like, the kind of smile that you get when you eat Rocky Road ice cream or something. I mean, I don't know. I'm just, saying stuff, but he notices those things. And because he is into you, and the more that he is able to make those kind of observations and connect with you on that level, that transfers to him paying attention to you and your responses in bed. Do you feel what I'm saying? Dudes is just like all, they all into themselves. They don't notice nothing about you. You got a new haircut, you put a new thing on there, you got a new pair of ears, something. This dude I'm talking about will notice those things. And he'll be like, "Oh, babe, that looks really nice on you. This and that. And I never seen those before." That kind of stuff. He's paying attention to you. He notices when you all go window shopping, what catches your eye and what you're looking at. He notices. And then the next thing you know, whether it's your birthday or just because, that's going to magically turn up in the gift box. You see what I mean? These dudes they pay attention. They're very focused on you, what you like, what you think, what you wear, all this kind of stuff. He's learned you. One of the perfect examples that I heard of that expressed in a movie was, what was that movie with Matt Damon where he was a mathematical genius and Robin Williams played the counselor, the therapist that he had, and he was talking about his wife that had died, and he was talking about the little things about her, like, the way she would look when she had to fart or something. I mean, it was stupid. What he was saying was crazy, but that is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. A man who is so observant about his woman that he knows her and her patterns and her looks and her stuff like that sometimes better than she knows herself. Okay, so you have a guy like that. Yes, Good Will Hunting. Thank you, Junebug. Yeah, it was in that movie. So if you ever get a chance to see that, watch how Robin Williams talks about his wife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a perfect example. Okay, you never had that. That's a lot of you are never going to have had this because this is kind of what they call it, like dovetails into what I'm gonna be talking to you about in the Sunday sermon about what you should be looking for. Okay, this is part of that. Okay, so now what about thanks, irises? What? Iris is coming out of pocket for real. Okay, well now the pressure's on. I got to really do good now. Okay, so let's talk about the next sense, which is the sense, the sense of smell. Now they say that women excrete a certain like musky smell. It's not a foul smell, but it is attractive to the opposite sex. Men, well, if you have a guy who's connected to you in this sensual way, he will like one of the he'll come and he'll hug you in my and he'll smell your hair. He smells your skin. He smells like right here. Like, even after a day or you took your shower this morning, it's not like you funky or anything, but um, that's your natural body scent right there. What your body smells like. He can smell that. And he's gonna bury his nose in there and get some good whiffs. Okay. Then when we start talking about the nether regions, a lot of women are very ashamed of the bodies that they have. They want to shave it. They talk about it's not sanitary, it's dirty, it's nasty. You have very negative perceptions of your bodies, and I really think that's really sad. I don't know who messed up so many black women about their bodies. I have some sneaky suspicions, but that's another topic. Um, but this, you as a woman are supposed to have those scents. Now, it's not supposed to be dank and rank and stuff because that would usually mean that there's something wrong. But there's a slight smell, like I said, a slight musky smell that women have down there, and men love it. Now, like I said, if it's a problem there, you might want to go, to the nearest gynecologist and get that checked out. But it's not supposed to be anything that you're ashamed of, and it draws men. That's like a mating smell. And when you have a guy who can appreciate that, well, let me just tell you about this fool I dated. This is when I first realized that because when you don't eat a lot of meat and stuff, you don't really have a lot of foul smells. There's no, it's not a lot of what they call like residue. I don't smoke. I don't do any drugs. It's just so what comes out of my body, my sweat, and everything else is pretty clean. And so he would take my underpants. He would take my underpants after I had worn them all day, and he would put them on his head. It was so stupid. So the crotch part was right here, and then he could see where where you put your legs, right? He could see through there. And this young lad would walk around in the house like that, just sniffing. And he just said it was like the best smell ever. And that would get him all worked up and then he'd be raring to go. I had never seen no shit like that, so I added that to my list. But it's part of the, the sensual, and also you will also see these guys like the ones with this great sense of smell. They smell things. They can appreciate flowers. When you go into environments where there's a nice, like incense, a little light incense burning or some essential oil or something, he's like, oh, that smells like lang lang and stuff like that. And you be like, what? Because most men are just they don't nothing. Everything goes by them. And he's like, oh, that smells really good. Babe, that's new perfume you got on. This and that and blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm telling you. No, he wasn't psycho. The dude was brilliant. But I'm talking about this because I want you guys to understand when a man is sensual, he's not hiding or being pretentious about what he likes. A guy who's there's well anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but just keep that in mind. He wasn't tripping about that. Dude was like, this smells good. This is my woman. I want to smell it. And this is how I'm going to smell it at a long time without having to go through any changes. Just walking around the house with some drawers on his head. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. But anyway, the guys who, like when they get their food, right, they're going to visually appreciate what's on the plate. They're looking at it and then they're going to smell it. And they're not smelling it to see if it's funky or anything. They're smelling the aromas. They will have a glass of wine and they will smell that because red wine has a nice bouquet. They can smell those kind of things. So that's I don't know. Just like a lot of women complain that men don't smell anything, like the trash. They'll leave the trash in the house for days, and the women is like dying because of the funk. And dude is like acting like he don't smell it. Okay, that's not these dudes. Those dudes that are like that are trash. They have trash dick because they're not into their senses at all. Okay, yes, girl, it's a doggy dog world. Your ex used to do that. I'm telling you. I had never seen no. He was the first one, but he wasn't the last. Okay. So now let's move on and talk about taste. Do you know those guys who get food and before they even taste the food, they start loading it with salt, loading it with ketchup, loading it with hot sauce? They're changing the taste of the food before they even taste it. You can't take them anywhere where the food is different, where there's different cuisines and different flavors and different spices used, different herbs and seasonings, because they can't taste it. They don't appreciate it. They only want basic shit like barbecue ribs, fried chicken, and burgers. They want the same shit over and over and over and over. And that's all they eat. And you know, there's no interest in anything else. If you got a dude like that, trash, guac, guac, trash. Because you know what that attitude about being willing to try new things and do different things and go outside of your comfort zone is a part and parcel for an exciting sex life. If he won't even do it about some damn food, he ain't gonna want to do it about you either. These are the ones who, when you come with something new that you want to try, sit in judgment of you. Where did you learn that shit? Well, I don't want my woman doing nothing like that. Man, man, man. Okay? You want a man who's going to embrace the new, the different. He's willing to try and he's willing to give everything a fair shake without negative judgments and condemnations. If you have that kind of dude, you can't try nothing with him. You can't try nothing. You can't bring up nothing. You can't experiment nothing because unless it's his idea, he's going to assume that there's something, that you did something wrong and it's just going to be a hot mess. So women who have men like that usually have to cheat because they get bored. They get bored in their relationship. They get bored with their sex life. And it's like they end up dipping out on dude. I'm trying to keep you from having to do that. If you get you a man who's, interesting and exciting, you won't want to dip out because he'll be hitting everything that you need him to hit. Well, that's different. See, Michelle Louise on something else. We're not talking about that. We're talking about how he's enjoying you. Okay? Stay focused. How he's enjoying you. and how what kind of things you can feel comfortable presenting to your man in a partnership. And then, you guys, it just makes things exciting because, long term relationships, shit gets boring. That's how people get like Jada and Will be having open relationships and all that kind of stuff because they can't think of nothing else to do. So they go wandering down some path of stupidity. I'm not down with all of that. A relationship is for two people. You better figure some shit out if it's all that boring, which it really shouldn't be. But just mix it up a little bit. Now let's talk about his sense of hearing. Have you ever had a guy who told you that he doesn't text you? He doesn't text. He calls you. Why does he call? Because he wants to hear your voice. Have you ever had a man who can tell when you're upset, when you're confused, when you're about to be really pissed, or when you're sad, when you are in pain, when you're anything, by the tone of your voice? That's a motherfucker who's tuned in. Okay? That is a man who hears you. When you're talking, he's listening. And he's not just listening to the words that you're saying, he's listening to what's the tone of voice that you use when you say it. And I know this is not really a common thing, but it does happen. Yeah, it happens. It happens. And they can, usually they have to be with you for a while, before that happens. And then, as they learn you and, they learn your little expressions and your tones and stuff like that. So they know, they say, they say, oh, how you feeling today? Fine. Okay, now you said fine. And your face probably said, just neutral. But he could tell by the way that you put that little extra in there that you ain't fine. And he'd be like, okay, what did I do? What did I do this time? You know? So this is this is okay, watch your language in here, whoever that was. Don't use words like that in the chat. You just got that shit hidden because that's like keep it PG, okay? Even though this is uh an adult topic, watch what you type in the chat because that is part of the screening that Google will do and it causes problems. Okay. So we use euphemisms on this channel. Okay. All right. So yeah, so they hear you, they can hear you. And it's a lot like they were not everything, but that is important because if a guy can hear you and he knows what's going on with you by your tone of voice or the sounds you make, now imagine how that transfers into the bedroom. Are you understanding how I'm making these connections? He can tell by how you breathing, what little sounds you make, little grunts you make, whether this is a good grunt or a bad grunt. Whether this is a do this some more or stop doing that, you killing me here, grunt. So they can tell. And that's the kind of man who is a great lover. He's tuned the fuck in. Okay? He's not just thinking about himself. Now, another thing, before I get into his the other senses, I want to also talk about this. I've worked many years as a personal trainer. One thing I've noticed, they women do Kegels for the pelvic floor muscles. Men need to do that as well. Do you see men who walk around and they're usually kind of older dudes, but a lot of young ones these days too? Their glute muscles are flabby. Their butt is supposed to be, especially when they're young. It might not have to be a big butt, but it should be rounded. That's how your glutes are supposed to be. There should be some shape there. If you have a dude that has a flat ass and his butt muscles are like atrophied, like it's flabby there, that is a guy who has poor uh, eggplant control. He's not going to be able to last because he doesn't have any control over that area. Those glute muscles and the pelvic floor muscles are connected. If you have strong pelvic floor, you will have strong glutes. Okay? So I'm telling you all. Yeah, frog butt. Exactly. But it's even worse than frog butt because it's flat. Frog butt is flat. But this is flat and flabby. Okay, these are the guys who can't jump. If you got a motherfucker who can jump a few feet up in the air, just standing here and boing like a little kangaroo, he gonna deliver some pipe. Okay, I'm telling you, people don't realize how important the muscles of the hips are, the glutes and hips are to your balance, your gait, your ability to go up and down stairs, your ability to stay vertical without falling over. That's why old people fall so much. Their glutes are atrophied because they sit down all the time. So if you have a job where you sit down all the time, you better do some glute work. And this goes way deeper than doing some squats, lunges, um, what you call them, bridges, one leg bridging. I wrote a whole book about how to develop your glutes. I keep saying I'm gonna reissue it, but I haven't done it yet because I need to re-edit it. But it was called "Improve Your Assets," which is the name of a class I used to run at the gym. It was a class for women about developing their ass. And so you got a guy who's got that kind of booty, pass, trash ass, trash. He's gonna have trash guac guac, and you're gonna be mad because it's gonna last about 30 seconds, if that. He's not gonna have enough self. He's not gonna have the muscular control that he needs to hold that back. Yeah, I need to do that. Maybe it's really not that much to do, but I just have so many projects. I need to clone myself. But that really should be an easy one. I don't know why I'm lagging. But yeah, improve your assets. That's what it is. Like an ebook. Um, so I'll add that to my list of 900 things to do. Maybe I'll pay somebody to do it because I just don't have time. And so we talked about this. So anyway, I just wanted to put that in there. So that is something that you need to look out for. You got these dudes with they don't know how no booty lead pass because you're gonna be mad when the shit is raggedy. Okay, then now let's move on back to these senses. The sense of touch. They like too rough. They're too rough, and every time they touch you, it's like you be saying "ouch" and jumping away from them and stuff because they just are like just clueless. Like they be grabbing. They really love to do that with titties, man. They be wearing your nipples out and just like killing you, and it really hurts, you know. And oh, what's going on here? Oh, I just saw something happen with the stream. Um, it hurts, and then they don't be paying any attention to that. Thanks, mommy. A curve or straight up. It depends on the woman's body. I'm gonna just put it that way. Because, if it's a curve that's kind of curving slightly up, then that's good. What's going on here with my stream? Hold on, you guys. I'm getting an error code all of a sudden. I don't know why. It looks like everything's working. Hmm. Uh, well, we just gonna keep going just and hope that this works. Um, Stream status poor. Oh, this is terrible. What's wrong with YouTube? I'm looking at this. What could the problem be? I don't know. It's slowing up every now and then. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It gave just okay. Now it's back to excellent. I don't know what was going on. It was giving some really weird error code. So anyway, let's me move on. I got distracted. Who was I? Oh, the sense of touch. Yeah, so they hurt you, right? And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like I said, if he had that ability to see and hear and was tuned into you, then he would see that what he was doing was wrong. You wouldn't have to open your mouth and tell him, but he's stupid. So that's not the kind of dude that you want to get in bed with. It's gonna be a messed up experience for you. It's gonna feel like an assault instead of something pleasurable because he's an idiot. Okay, he don't know what the fuck he doing. And so, you should never be in a bed with a man where you're getting hurt unless that's your consensual, agreement and that's what you all agree to be doing. But in general, most people, your average person is not into pain when they in the bed. There's some people that are, but most people are not. And so you got these clowns, and they're doing shit to hurt you and acting like it's no big deal and like, well, why are you jumping and stuff? Oh, that didn't hurt. They're gonna tell you it didn't hurt your body, it's your body. Stuff like that. If you got a man like that, you get rid of his ass, you don't sleep with him. You already met, in there that one time, that's your thing. You get up, you put your clothes on, and you leave because he's trash. Okay. That is no kind of thing. When the man touches you, it should be gently and it should be in a way that draws you to him, not that repulses you and makes you fearful and causes you pain. If he's doing anything that is negative like that, you don't fuck with him. Okay, leave his ass alone. And they should be able to touch you in a way like when you're holding hands. Um, it's not just you're not just holding hands. He's experiencing your fingers. He's experiencing the skin on your hand. Okay. He's doing all this kind of stuff here. He's playing with your fingers. He knows how your palm feels. He knows how the back of your hand feels. He knows what up to your wrist feels like. He touches your face. He knows what that feels like. He can, feel your place. He's going to kiss all over your face and this kind of stuff. This is a man who enjoys touching you. And his touches express affection, romance, caring, sensitivity, sensuality, this kind of stuff. This the kind of man he touches you in a way where you can't wait to get busy with him. Okay? These monkey ass fools, they don't know nothing. Yeah. Yeah, giant hands like baseball mitts. Oh no. See, they don't have this. And that's what I'm saying. You can tell a lot by a dude way before you get into bed with them. If they handle themselves like these ways I'm saying, you don't fuck with them. You got that. You can see a lot of this even on the first and second date. And I'm gonna get into a little bit more into what I observed too. I think people are kind of mesmerized. You guys hit the like button, please. Just right quick while you sitting in the chat. Just go on over there, hit it. Come on back. So that's one thing. Okay, now let's talk about his presence. His presence. What does that mean? That means when you're around this guy or you see him with a group of people, how he is in relation to those other people. Now, there are guys who hide, they're afraid. They have low confidence, they have very low self esteem. Their head is always down. They don't look nobody in the eye. They always look shifty eyed. I'm not talking about the Aspergery people because they have a reason. But we got people who don't have Asperger's and they still got like no confidence in it. And they don't have any kind of confidence in themselves. And so he's like, he barely looks at you. He's just a shifty eyed. He's looking down all the time. He's looking around all the time. He spends more time looking at other people than he does at you. So that you feel like, okay, I'm on this date by myself. What's really going on here? Do I have like food in my teeth or what? I mean, is one of my eyes magically crossed all of a sudden? What happened that he does not looking at me? He's looking, everywhere else. Dude, you can't do that. That just presents you as somebody with zero confidence. And that shit is not sexy at all. A man with no confidence, man, I'm telling you, I can't do nothing with you. Nothing. I would steamroll you. And it's like a guy's got to be confident to get into bed with a woman who's got some confidence herself, because otherwise he's gonna feel like she's just taking over. She's, too experienced. She knows too much. She didn't let me lead. And they're gonna be having all of these issues about it be based on the fact that they don't have any confidence. Now, how can you tell that? When I talk about a man's presence, you know how important posture is? Posture tells you a lot. How they walk. Does he swing his legs with a stride? Does he walk into a room like a fucking G? Okay, he shakes hands with people. It's none of that limp, little kind of shit like that. It's confident and strong. And he's like, look people in the eyes, it's good to meet you. My name is so and so, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's the kind of man that just gets the juices flowing. Okay? Because the motherfucker walks around like he's a fucking boss. That's what women want. Okay, I mean, that's what I want. I don't know about the rest of you. I can't be the dudes with their little limp handshakes and stuff. Oh my God, utter turn off. He ain't even, like, it's beyond boring. It's just sad and sorry. It just don't nobody want that. Um, Now another thing too, part of posture is their head position. To have a good posture, your ears are supposed to line up with your shoulders with your hips and your knees. Okay, so you're standing very erect. Your stomach should be nice and tight, flat. Okay, not a gut that's rounding and pulling your back that way. So you got like this sway back and all this kind of stuff. That's not sexy. And so if you got a man who's saying, a lot of them will have, especially these gamer types, they have this what's called the forward head posture, like this. Their head, like their ears come in line here because their head is always straining, forward playing video games or whatever. They have the worst posture. Their shoulders are rounded in like this. Their back muscles are weak. Their shoulders are narrow. They have no upper body strength. It's terrible. You got a guy like that, he ain't gonna have no stamina. Cause they have to be able to, stay in position. You know what I mean? They got to be able to stay in position and got to be able to work that low back, work them hips. They don't have no glutes. They don't have no muscle tone. They don't have no stamina. They can't fuck. Okay, so you got this kind of stuff. And she talk about her mimosa. Let me have a swig of my wine. As a matter of fact, we talking about adult stuff, kimchi. This a girls' night out. I'm giving my tips on how to figure out if a man is gonna be a good lover or not. Okay, so that and and his how he walks is part of it too. Men that got this little mincing step, like a little Chinese lady. I don't like. Don't be walking like that. Don't be walking like that. That's just not cute. That's not manly. What are you doing? You want somebody like that who has a stride, who's got done not that duck walk they be doing too when they pants are sagging. That duck walk that they be doing. Oh my God, that's just trash too. They called him what? Quasimodo. Oh, that's awful. But that's what I'm talking about. Well, it might be called Tex-Mex now, but there is a name for it. That kind of posture, which I forget because I've been out the fitness field for a minute here. But I'm not. This ain't funny. This is serious, deadly serious. This is some serious stuff. You get with one of them dudes and watch how mad you be when he can't deliver no dick, and you be sitting up there all frustrated and mad as hell and stuff, and then throwing his gaming, texting hunchback ass out. Like, get the fuck out. Text this. All right. So that's another thing. The way he moves. The way he moves. Like it's like his sense, what we call proprioception in the fitness industry. How you use gravity and motion and space. And the way that he does it, he's very commanding presence. And he has confidence and he does not move like he's timid and afraid like the boogeyman gonna jump out at him. Okay. That's one. Okay, then another you was mad. See, I done told you. You should have been here. You should have got this before you met him. You wouldn't have wasted your time. Okay, so then and the other thing is, okay, I talked about his, the way he moves, and then talk about his presence. Um, Everything about him, when he's walking and stuff and the way he stands, it shows I'm here. I can make shit happen. Woman, you with me, I got this. You don't have to worry. Don't think about nothing. Just, just have yourself a good time. Just relax. Um, I don't know. It's just it's something about the way they stand and walk. I have a friend who does martial arts, and I know you've seen it in the martial arts movie. They what I call the martial arts stance. Their feet are a little wider, like little past shoulder width apart. Their shoulders are back. He's standing up. He's like ready. His muscles are tense, and his hands are like kind of slightly balled up by his sides. His arms are a little bit curved out, and so he's like ready to swing into action and kick and punch somebody the fuck out of you. And so, I used to like to go places with him because of that, the way that he would look like that, the way he would walk like that. I like men that have that kind of that presence. I don't even know what else to call it. That it's like a presence like I got this, don't even trip. Don't worry about it. Too many women are in situations where they're the ones who like they need to protect the man. Okay? That is something that happens a lot, okay? Then you want to talk about, his mind, his attitude about women, his attitudes about sex, his attitude about women's rights, his attitudes about relationships, his attitudes about education, about a woman's, what's a woman's place, a woman's role, all this kind of stuff. You want to find that kind of stuff out. You want to get up in a motherfucker's head, I'm trying to tell you, because that could be a real turn off too. Because that all that's tied into the other senses where he's going to be measuring you and judging you because he has in his mind this rigid idea of what a woman, quote, his woman should and should not do, should and should not say, should and should not wear, and all this kind of stuff. So you put on something that's a little risque, trying to, bring up the heat. And he's gonna be like, oh, they look like a prostitute. That look like a hoe. I don't want my woman looking like that, blah, 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 blah. And so what do you end up feeling? Ashamed, embarrassed. You don't want a man who's gonna do that. You want a man who's gonna be using his eyes and using his senses, man. He's gonna be like sitting back looking at you, right? Like, go girl, put on a show for me. Let me see. Walk around in that, model that for me. And then he gonna be sitting there with this very appreciative look on his face. What does that do for you? That turns you the fuck on. That's what it does. What else does it do? It builds up your confidence. And what else does it do? It makes some magic happen once y'all get in bed. Why? Because he appreciates you, he respects you, and he's not judging you. That's why I like messing with Aries men. They're the biggest freaks in the world. They don't judge nothing. They're like, what you want to do, I'm down. But yeah, I would never have a relationship with one. I'm just talking about, this part. Yeah, get your little lingerie, your lingerie from where Victoria's Secret or wherever you get it from these days. I don't know where's the new place everybody gets it. And you put on something that might be something different. Like maybe you always dress, kind of ladylike with the little baby doll gowns with the lace and stuff. And then it's always like pretty, feminine. Okay, well now you went shopping with your girlfriends and y'all had a few drinks and you say, well, look at this. And you want to get one of them, what they call them, a merry widow and some garters and something else, and you gonna try the new look. Okay, and so dude is like the good dude I'm talking about. He's gonna be like, what this? Yay! Okay, whereas the other dudes is gonna be like, you look like a hoe, this and that, and he's gonna cause you to feel shame and humiliation and bad about wanting to try something new with your dude. So you don't want a man like that. You don't want a guy like that. Yeah, they are. I like the Aries men. Now let me tell you about this Aries man that I met. Now I never did anything with him because I was too scared. You think I don't get scared? Well, this was years ago. I wouldn't be scared now. But this is probably about 20 years ago. And I met this dude. And he wasn't, he had a lot of this that I was talking about. And the other thing about guys who have these things, the way they eat, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And so, dude, he had all this stuff going on. He was just energetic and just, smart as hell. Had traveled everywhere, spoke a couple of different languages. I mean, he was on it. And girl, y'all, I'm telling you, one day I happened to, I never really, he was a client and he had come to our office and was having a meeting, and so we were in the conference room talking, and he was standing kind of close to me, and he stood closer to me than he ever stood before, so his arm was maybe this, thank you, this far from my arm, and the hair on my arm stood up. There's like this electrical charge between the two of us. Scared the shit out of me because he hadn't even touched me and all of that was going on. I was like, okay, this motherfucker gets hold of me, I'm gonna be a fool. I don't want no parts of this. Mm-mm. And he was cute too. And he, I could tell he was interested because of the way he was looking at me. He felt it too. We both kind of, jumped and looked at each other. But after that, I kept a wide berth from him because, A, we worked together and that would have been awkward. He was like a big time client that R.com, he invested a lot of money in it. So that was kind of a touchy thing. If we fell out, he might get iffy with the money. But the main thing was, if all that was going on just from standing too close to me, it was gonna be like out. Forget monster. It was just gonna be just unbelievable. And he had the things I'm talking about. His presence is there. His sensuality there. I had noticed how he smells his food. He would smell the coffee. He could tell what kind of beans it was. You see what I mean? The man, it just he was connected to his senses, and then the way he ate. And I'll tell you this. Okay, you guys got these dudes. Nah, mm-mm. Because you got to think. I'm telling you, this was a professional situation. He was an investor in my company where I worked. If he pulled out his money because he got mad at me, it was gonna be a fucked up situation. I'm sitting there thinking about all that. It's like, no, I don't want no parts of this. We're gonna leave him alone. And so that's what we did. But the way that a man eats, let's talk about that for a minute. There's messy eaters, and there's people that have poor manners and they chew with their mouth open. And like somebody said on the wall today, they dated a guy who chewed like a camel, at a circus. And I had a guy who he would chew with his mouth wide. Oh, it was just so nasty. I couldn't, you know, I couldn't do nothing with him. And but you want a man who eats his food with gusto. Let me just put it that way. You got the men that pick over stuff. They eat like they're dainty when they eat. They're gonna be dainty when they fuck. Do you want to be fucking a dainty ass man who's like, oh, everything he's, grossed out, juices and stuff. He just all cringing and just, he don't want to look at nothing. And he tells you that, pube hair grosses him out and you should be bald like a kid and, this and that. All this other stuff. Okay, you got a dude who has those kind of issues. You don't fuck with him. Okay. And I know a lot of women be like, well, they think that that's good too, and they want to shave. Well, it's more sanitary, this and that. I'm telling you, that is a wrong thing. Stop being ashamed of your body. You should just be able to trim it down and use soap and water. Shit, fuck, that you think. You don't need to be feeling ashamed of what you got naturally as a grown ass woman. Once you go through puberty, you get pubic hair. Same with men. Okay? The only people who don't have any are porn stars. So you got somebody who's sitting up there trying to make you look like a porn star. You already know what time it is. That motherfucker is a freak. You've been watching that kind of crap all the time and thinking that real women are supposed to not only look like that, but act like that. Don't waste your time because you'll never measure up. He's looking at some fantasy that people got paid $10,000 to perform and thinking that's supposed to be your real life, response to shit. Ignorant ass fucks. So you don't mess with them. I don't know what they are, but I'm just telling you. Y'all will be caught up in that trap because somebody done told you that it's unsanitary and it's nasty and you're nasty and all this kind of stuff. So you feel all this shame about your bodies. Stop doing that. I'm telling you, that's not this whole thing about being bald down there only started in the 90s with the proliferation of the internet porn. That's when it started. Because, quiet as it's kept, of course, as a kid, I used to see my uncles had dirty books and stuff. As a kid, you're going to speak at stuff. All the magazines and all the pictures, the women had hair. Okay? That shit is new from the 90s forward. Once the internet hit big and people figured out that they could put porn on the internet, that's when that came about. And they also started bleaching women down there so that everything's one color because it was better for the photography. So but that's not normal. Real women don't look like that. So this is something you guys really need to think about because you don't understand what you're feeding into by going along with that mindset. Okay, that's not normal. And men who have that kind of mindset, Yeah, I think they're kind of pedophilic myself because the only person who looks like that are children. And now you telling your grown woman that her adult body, you not turned on by it. That means you turned on by a child, you fucking pervert. That's what that means. He's not saying those words, but come on now, use your intellect. That's what that means. And those of you who have daughters that are children, and you got a man like that, you need to get rid of him. Keep your kids away from him. You don't even understand what's going on here and the danger you putting your kids in. Your little girls around that motherfucker. Yeah, my husband was a Taurus. Good dude. Yeah. I can't say that I would want to be married to another one though. He was a piece of work. Okay. Okay, so now let's move on and talk. Now that I talked about that, the attitude that they have. That's very, very important. All his attitude about women's bodies, about relationships, about commitment, about what's good, what's bad, women's roles, what's right and proper for women, all that kind of stuff. He got this thing where, my women should this and women should that, and, is God said and all this old kind of stuff. He gonna put you in a box. You're going to die there. Okay, you will never get out. You will never be able to be who you want to be or even try on some new identity to see if you want to change yourself because he's going to condemn it and judge you and make you feel bad for being, trying to be something that he doesn't want you to be. I'm telling y'all better watch out for this kind of stuff because it turns into a situation where as you in a relationship with this man and the relationship gets older and older, you start shutting down. And so you see women who are like in their 40s, mid 40s, that's their sexual prime. And they don't even want to do it anymore with their husbands. This is why. This is why I've talked to enough of them to figure it out. Their men are trash and the men make them feel bad and the women are stuck. Then they're in a box and they can't get out because if they get out, then that means they're cheating and they don't want to cheat. So they're in just this marriage with no passion, no romance, no lust, no nothing with a man that fucking judges them. So all they can do is the same shit in bed that they've been doing for the last whatever 15, 20 years, the same shit over and over and over and over. And the women are dying inside. They're dying. So they don't even want to do it anymore. And then as soon as they get a divorce and get some new man, oh honey, they hot seat now because they're in a position where they get to do something new, different, and exciting with a man who's welcoming and who's not judging and condemning them. Okay, you guys, I'm trying to put all this together. I know it's gonna be a lot because I'm not even finished yet. There's still some more to cover. Um, Now we want to talk about men who feel ashamed of themselves. Probably people don't really think about that, but these foam things on these, they make your ears sweat. That's why I'm like, oh my God, there's nothing like having sweaty ears. Um, Men feel a lot of shame. They feel shame because their dick's a little. They feel shame because they're not making enough money. They feel shame because their teeth are fucked up. They're short. Um, they don't have a. They feel like they can't get a girlfriend. They're a failure as a man. They try to hit on some woman, she rejects them. Anyway, they internalize all of that as being something wrong with them, and them not being good enough, and being ashamed of themselves. Another way um, that they display that is they hide what they think. So you guys got these men, right? You constantly trying to pull a thought out of them. Well, honey, what do you want? What do you think? Well, what's this and that and blah 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 blah. And they don't never give you a straight answer. Everything's all roundabout, beat around the bush, or they just deflect and all kind of stuff. They don't want you to really know who they are. They don't want to be like nailed down. And why do they do that? Because they're afraid that you're going to judge them. And they are already ashamed of what they think, what they feel, and all of that. So they don't want to share it. They usually tend to have a lot of secrets too. Sometimes it has to do with being abused as a child. You know, Sometimes it has to do with they have some kinky fetish or something, or they've done something criminal, or if they've done something, abused a kid or something, and they're ashamed of it. They did it, but they didn't get caught, but they're still ashamed of it. There's a lot of things that people would be ashamed of, but I'm just telling you, be aware of the fact when you have a guy who's hiding what he thinks and what he feels. Sometimes it's not low self. It's different and it's deeper than just him just not having the confidence to be criticized. It has to do with him being ashamed of himself, so he doesn't want anybody to know who and what he is. So he's hiding. He's hiding himself. And if you have a man who's like that, let me tell you something. You ain't never gonna have a close relationship with him. This kind of intimacy I'm talking about, where you can just lay in the bed or sit somewhere next to you, his head on your lap or your head on his lap, and y'all just sitting there talking about whatever, touching each other, whatever. Um, just enjoying. It's like this sensual couples time, intimacy without being sexual. Then you will never have that with him. He'll just sit there. He will not open up to you, and you will feel so fucking frustrated and feel like you're in your relationship by yourself. He never shares anything with you. He never makes himself vulnerable. He never lets you in. If you have a man who's not going to share himself with you and let you in, what kind of sex life you think you're going to have with that motherfucker? These are the guys who, though they might be technically okay, like they read a book or something, right? So they're technically proficient. They know, okay, you touch here for 12.5 seconds, then you do this for 30 seconds, and then you do this for 2 minutes, and then you just, okay, so they're technically proficient. I mean, you might get something out of it, you know what I'm talking about. But you know what's missing? The emotional connection. Have you ever been in bed with a man that you loved, or, that you was in some tight situation with, and you guys are doing the do, and you feel this energy exchange like surround you? It's like a energy bubble. That shit is real. That happens. But you know what? You have to have two people whose hearts are completely open to each other. Their minds are open, their bodies are open. If you have that, sex goes to a whole new level. And you're never going to get that with a guy who's closed off to you, who's hiding from you, who feels ashamed of himself, or who's judging you. It's never going to happen. Your sex life is going to always be missing something. It's always going to be just okay. Yeah, me too, Mary Elizabeth. And I tell you, it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary because, after sometimes, some women report that after that they start crying and they just, it's like they can't control it. It just like the tears just come out because of the depths of the emotional connection they have to that man. You got that kind of connection, or you better be married. That's not because otherwise, that's some bull. You're gonna be in trouble. But usually that's how it is. Uh, you got to be in a situation where you are married, or some serious long-term relationship before you even build up that kind of rapport, and it may take a year or two. I'm not going It's not like an instant thing, but he should be showing you these traits and abilities and this use of his senses way before, because otherwise you'll never reach that pinnacle, because he won't have the foundational equipment and materials to make it happen you know You'd rather do it yourself. Yeah, it's very rare, Sean. I have to admit it's very rare. But what I'm trying to do tonight is give you guys some insight so how it can be less rare. At least you can have something that's really wonderful. It might not reach that level because that shit, like I said, is scary. And that man you better be married to. And he, you know what I mean? So that when you get that kind of vulnerability, it could be something really devastating if you with a knucklehead. Okay. Oh, I know what I was going to say too about the men who feel ashamed. I was talking about the physical things. It could be something else too, like they have one leg shorter than the other one, or they have really them little T Rex arms, or they're kind of midgetized or something. They walk with a limp. I mean, people have different, kind of things going on. Their head is misshapen or something. Just people have different kind of issues going on, but he's gonna have a lot of physical insecurities. Insecurities about the way that he looks, or the things that he doesn't have, or the things that he's not, and he's going to project those insecurities versus focusing on what he does have to offer. He just focuses on what he doesn't in comparison to other guys. So yeah, he's looking outside, but he's looking outside in a negative way to compare himself in a he's to compare himself to them and come out, on the bottom. Now, another thing you want to look at too is, does he have any friends? And if he does, what are they like? This is kind of a screening technique. This is kind of early on dating question that you can ask. If you want some more ideas about what to ask, there's a video here called "The Man Behind the Mask," and it talks about some things that you should be kind of bringing up in the first and second date, or some pre-date phone calls. But it's some information that you should be finding out about dude and asking him about himself and getting comfortable with to know if you even should go on another date with him. So this would be another, component of it. It's like, people, they say birds of a feather flock together. Who are his close friends? Now, we all have acquaintances that's like all in the ozone or something, and coworkers that we might hang out with occasionally and stuff. I'm not talking about those. Those are people that like on the periphery of his life. We all have people like that. Those are our quote close friends. I'm talking about close friends. How long has he had these friends? Are these childhood friends? These people he just met next week? Or they just really can't? They're not really friends. Just people he just kind of talks to. Does your man have any friends? If he does, what kind of character do they have? What kind of people are they? If your man has friends that cheat on their wives and girlfriends, beat on their wives and girlfriends, have criminal records, do all kind of dirty shit, and just this side of be doing a 10-year sit down in the prison because that's the kind of lifestyle they use. They do drugs. They just okay. Your man may sway that he doesn't do those kind of things, but why are you friends with people that are that kind of character? Why would you want to bring people like that around your household where your wife and children are? What's wrong with you? So these are important questions to really get clear, because if that's the people that he thinks are the cool people and he be bringing around your house, then there's something wrong with your man. There's something seriously wrong. That attitude that you have of him being connected to you on a level where he wants to protect you and make sure that what goes on in his household is secure and safe. He's bringing the bullshit into the house. That makes a woman not feel very safe to have these kind of people that get shot in drive-bys up in her house, sitting in her living room over her kids. Nigga, really? That's what you think you supposed to be doing? Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I went out with a dude one time. Oh yeah, I have to tell you the story, right? So he's like, oh yeah, So he wanted me to meet some of his friends. I'm like, okay. I stopped seeing him after this. Let me tell you. I'm terrible. I will cut somebody off in a minute. Okay, this dude, okay, his friends, two of his friends come in and they had them lips. I'm telling you, they had them lips. They had them lips. You know what kind I'm talking about, them DSL lips. DSL. And I was like, oh. And then it was like the way that they were standing. Men don't stand like, how white girls stand where they throw that hip out. They put like one foot into their instep and then they throw that hip out. Black women don't tend to do that. That's a white girl thing. And they be standing like that. And these dudes were standing like that. I'm like, really? What's really going on? So then I'm looking at him. And we'd only been out once or twice. You know what I mean? It would no nothing, no intimacies that happened. And so but I don't know why he was in a rush for me to meet his friends. Maybe he wanted me to know that he dabbled in the underworld or something, because I don't do bisexual men. I can't do that. I mean, so I'm thinking, I've always thought that he just wanted me to know it without me, without having to tell me. And But just looking at him, you couldn't. No, he wasn't. His friends were. He didn't project that at all, but because I mean, I can pick up on it. He didn't. He had been either that or he's been very careful not to project it to me. Let me put it that way. But um, there was something. Once I saw his quote close friends, I knew that this was a wrap. There would be no more activity between the two of us. We ain't going on date number two or three or whatever it's gonna be. It's not gonna happen. This is it. And he was cute too. That was unfortunate. But I care more about my my safety and my health than I care about some man. Because just me and a dime a dozen. Shit, they just like a next AC Transit bus just standing long enough for another one to come. Girl, but the thing about it, see, the best thing about my stories is they all true. It's like, where do I get find these people? Where do they find me? I don't know. But yeah, that was a very short lived whatever that was. That was very, very short lived. And in there too, in this, his presence and the way that he moves, part of his presence is also in his attitude, in his approach to you. Because a real man who has this kind of presence is never going to be the ones that approach you with their dick in their hand talking about uh when you gonna have me come over, and you know can I this you, can I hit that, and all this kind of stuff. They're never gonna be that person. So you got guys ask you what kind of underwear you wear, and I was in your neighborhood, can I come by, and all this kind of stuff. These guys don't conduct themselves like that. If anything, they're the kind that women chase. The dude who's so cool, he just be sitting there and the women approach him. That's how these guys are. Because they exude this energy I'm talking about. It's just very attractive. It's very, very attractive. And they will pursue the woman that they're interested in, don't get me wrong. But very often, if they're in an environment and they don't see anybody, they're a single dude, and they don't see anybody that they're interested in, they just gonna be chilling, right? Talking to their friend or whatever. And they got there with a couple of friends, they just talking, having their drinks or whatnot. They're not really, they checking the women out, but so far nobody's really caught their eye. So they're not, he's not gonna make a move just to be making one. And but you'll see that women tend to approach guys like that. They'll go over to him and talk to him, and they're always polite and stuff, but they don't be trying to like lead her on or anything. She asking for a dance, he might dance with her, just to be polite. They're not mean people, but I'm just saying these kind of guys carry themselves differently. They carry themselves with polish and class and sophistication, and with purpose and determination and focus. They are not, just like bed hopping like that. They're going to be with somebody, or, they're going to have maybe two or three somebody. I'm not saying that they, are going to be settled down with every woman. They might have to be dating two women or three women at the same time, but just like I tell y'all to do if you single. But they do it in a way that the women, it's respectful. They're not lying to nobody. And I don't know. I just have the greatest respect for guys like that. And the way that they carry themselves is somewhat, they say, well, I'm seeing some other people. And you say, well, that's fine. I am too. So we're on the same page. And then, it's always up front. And then if you do decide to sleep with him, it will be a good experience for you because of the fact that he possesses these qualities that I'm talking about. So you want a man who's got, an athletic kind of persona, um, who he's got his glute muscles into place. His upper body is strong, so he can hold the position. You know what I'm talking about. If y'all want to do something where he's got to hold you in the air, he can do it because he's strong and in shape, and all kind of stuff will be going on. Standing up, leaning against walls, all kind of stuff, just to make shit interesting. He can do all that because he's in shape and he's got the muscular, you know, the muscle tone to handle it. They're all around, Ash. You just got to, trying to open your eyes so you can look at them because a lot of, I mean, they might not look, the way that you might be thinking in the face. I'm not saying, or he might be a little shorter than what you used to, you know, might be a little shorter. And there's a lot of people who are very athletic, but that doesn't mean that they're skinny. Basketball players kind of slim build. I tend to like that. But what about football player build? Soccer players tend to be real. They're lean, but they have really thick legs. I mean, there's all kind of things that men do that are weight train guys who bodybuilder types and weight trainers and stuff. They kind of got that stocky build, but they're still in shape. They still got muscles. They got glutes. So you're looking for these other internal qualities to go with them. So, I mean, just think about, some of the guys, when you start meeting dudes, just talk to them. Find out where they are and how they roll. How does he carry himself? Watch them as they walk. Does he walk by? Does he hold his head high? Does he put himself head down? Does he, say move all stupid and gangly and stuff like he's uncoordinated and all that? Leave him alone. He got trash dick. Trash. You want a man who's got himself, his body, he's aware of his body in space. That's what I said. It's called proprioception. Yeah, swimmer body is good. I like basketball player bodies. That's my thing. All my men have played basketball, all of them. And yeah, so that I think is that everything that I wanted to say. Yeah, I talked about eating, the sight, smell. Yeah, those are the things that I look at anyway before I decide to sleep with somebody. Yeah, football. They be stocky, except for the like wide receivers and stuff. They tend to be slim. But they be because they have to have all that muscle on them to knock the fuck out of people on the field. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Can't hide. You put it in better words than me. Yes, it's like they right. But the man who if he has these qualities about him, he's gonna become more attractive to you as he rocks your world. He gonna become the finest motherfucker you ever laid eyes on. But you've got to open your eyes to how they move, how they conduct themselves, how they talk, their posture, how they eat, and how they interact with you. And I'm telling you, the second y'all be just way too nice, the second you talking to them and they start with some dick conversation, hang up. Hang up. Don't entertain them. Don't say, well, I told him I didn't want, don't talk to me like that and all that kind of stuff. Do you honestly think a man past the age of 15 doesn't know that? That what he's doing is inappropriate? Do you really think that he don't know that? Or you speaking a foreign language? He just dropped off of a spaceship from Mars or somewhere so he don't know? See, y'all just being redundant. You doing too much. And when you act like that, you're basically telling him, well, I'm just so desperate, I'm going to give you another chance. Even though you approach me like, like I'm some slut on the street, I'm still going to deal with you. That's what you're telling him. And then you wonder why they don't treat you well. Why should he? You took the bait. That was a test. And once you still talk to him, you failed. Okay, they know better. They just treating you like some garbage bitch. And then you keep talking to them because you feel like you need to give them a chance or something. I don't know what y'all be thinking. I don't know. I can't. I met this. Oh, he was cute too. Usually I don't really like. I have to just say, I don't really like. Like I'm not really a fan of biracial men too much. The mixture I like is Asian and black. I'll do that. Italian and black. That's cute too. Filipino and black. Japanese and black, very nice. That's a good look. But uh, this guy was, and I don't know, and he was biracial. His mom was white, his dad was black, but he was, very fair skinned, and he even had blue eyes, and kind of this sandy blondish hair. But you couldn't tell him he wasn't a black man. I mean, that was it. But I was kind of like confused. Let me put it that way. But he identified as an African American, and so that was fine. I went out with him, so everything was fine. We went to uh, what's the name of that place? Horatio Hornblowers. We sat in a little bar. They had this dip, this crab and artichoke dip there that I love. So he ordered me my own. I was like, ooh, I like this guy. So he had his own. I had my own. We didn't have to share. I was grubbing. I was ate so much I was sick though. And then we were talking everything. Okay, everything was fine. So I'm like, okay, this I'm being open here. This might be all right. He's a little skinnier than what I usually like, but I'm like, whatever. I'll fatten his ass up in no time. So then he had to go on a business trip, I think, a couple of days. So then he calls me from New York, where he's on his business trip. He's in his hotel room. And he's talking to me. Now, keep in mind, we talked on the phone once, and then we went on one date, and then he's on this trip. Okay, so this is like our third conversation. And he starts telling me, he starts talking some kind of dick conversation. I don't remember what it was. And I was kind of half asleep because, it was late. And I'm like, what? I kind of woke up and I was like, wait, what did you say? And the idiot, he laughs and he said it again. I said, I'm going to hang up now and I want you to lose my number. You don't approach me like that. I don't know who the fuck you think you talking to. I did know. And I just hung up. And then, that was that. And so he was just so upset. And then he was texting me and he was like, well, you know, I didn't mean anything by it. And, I was just trying to get to know. He had all these copping all these pleas, but it was too late. It was too late. Plus, I forgot there was the other thing that had me on the fence too. He had like custody of his little girl. I think she was 4 or something, and cause the wife with the girl, the baby mama, had gone into the crack zone, and so I'm like, once he told me that too, I was like, oh hell no, I don't feel like being. I mean, I don't mind little kids, cause my daughter at the time wasn't that much. Well, I guess she was about 10. It wasn't too, this is when I first was trying to get back out in the dating thing, dating scene and stuff. So, my daughter was still young. So she probably would have liked, having some little younger kind of like baby sister kind of action around if I was dating the guy seriously. I could see her liking that. But, the crackhead mama, no, I'm cool. And then the way that he went went straight there. I was like, nigga, you ain't that cute. I'm still tripping about that hair and them eyes and your skinniness. I'm trying to think, shit, the motherfucker skinny with clothes on, he probably look like a fucking skeleton and some with them clothes off. And I'm thinking this might not be a good idea. You were working as a personal trainer. I'm used to seeing dudes buff, with muscles and shoulders and shit. He didn't have none of that. He was very in shape, it's like aerobically, but because he rode bicycles. But I mean like miles of bicycle. But he didn't have no muscles. Child, yeah, I don't do skeletons. But I thought, I was like, well, I felt like, well, he won't be looking like that long eating my cooking, so I didn't even worry about it too much. But that's what I have to say about that. I hope that my you guys understand. It's taking me a long time to explain it and break it down. But it's like I'd be like the $6 million man when I meet somebody. I'm like, ding 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 ding. Assessment made. Trash dick alert, trash dick, trash. And then I'll mess with them. Yeah, I like shoulders and backs. Shoulders and backs. Like if a dude turn around, like he got that V working and he got that nice muscular back. I'm all over that shit. I'll be clean like a little monkey. He like, bitch, get off of me. Like, no, I don't want to. And another thing, I'm a sucker for dudes with slightly bowed legs, not deformed bowed, but slightly bowed legs with nice glutes. Shit, I will follow that motherfucker down the street like a stalker. I do that. I saw this white boy one time in San Jose, and he looked like a biker or something. Like he had been like a convict. And he do look rugged, but long hair and stuff. And so he was walking the same direction I was going. So I was, it was convenient for me to watch him walk. He had that Denzel swag, and I was like, "What is this?" And he was just strutting his stuff, and he had that presence. I'm telling you, he had all the stuff. Well, I mean, the visible. He had it all. He had the way he carried himself. His head was high. He's walking like he had that stride working. He had his little boots and his jeans on. Nice body. You could see it under his. He had a tank top on, and he had his jeans on, a little belt, and does his little boots and stuff. 'Cause it's hot as hell in San Jose. And he's walking, and I'm following him. So we start at the stoplight, across the intersection. And I just had to say something. I said, dude, I've been following you for a whole block. Did you notice? And he looked like, what? I said, I just want to say you fine as hell. I just want to tell you that. And he just turned all kind of red, and he was like, "Well, thank you." Oh my, no woman's ever told me that before. I said, "Yes, just now you crossed in front of me so I could continue my sightseeing." And he thought that shit was so funny as he was just walking across the street, and he kept looking back at me and looking back and cracking up. But like, yeah, he had long hair, but he's like, I'm telling you, he looked rough. He looked, gruff and mean until I said that, and then his whole face softened, and then he was all smiles. There, he grinning at me and stuff, looking back, and I'm like, "Ooh, this motherfucker just fine as hell. This don't make sense." Yes. Now let me tell you now. See, if somebody wanted to retell the story of the dude I met in Hawaii when I was 19. Okay. I went on a trip, and I tell you, I've never done anything like this since, but I'm glad I did it. I wasn't catcalling. I was straight all up in his face. I was like this far from him. I wasn't, hey, I was like, oh, you fine. But he just, yeah, he thought I was crazy. But okay, so I'm in Hawaii, on Oahu, downtown Honolulu, there's four of us. Okay, we on this trip, and we rented this little condo and stuff, and we downtown, we shopping. We had went to lunch and we shopping and stuff, and so it's crowded. It's like a outdoor, uh I don't know, what do they call these things, flea market or something. Like they stalls. People have these stalls and stuff. So we going along buying little souvenirs and what, just bullshit tourist shit. And so through the crowd, I saw this guy, and like I'm here, and it's like I felt this energy. I'm like at the stall and doing this, and I felt this energy. So I turn around, and through the crowd, I see this dude, and he is just staring at me, and just like, and I'm staring right back because I'm like, this, he's like, like, oh, and then the light halo and all this shit came on, and I was like, wow, who the fuck is that? And I'm just looking at him, and it's like I just was transfixed. I just could not stop staring at him. And he was the same way. So he makes his way through the crowd. We just staring at each other. I had never seen this man before in my life. Don't just no, never. No. We had been. This was our second day, in Hawaii of 7 days, and so he comes over and he's like, "Hi." And he introduced himself. I tell him my name. He says, "Would you like to come with me?" I said, "Sure." I told my friends bye, and I left. And I stayed with him the whole rest of the vacation. I made it back to the hotel in time to get my shit and go to the airport. So my whole vacation was spent with this man that I met just in a while walking down the street. He was a sailor. He was in the Navy. And I tell you, that was the wildest week I have ever had in my life. But it was oh so fun. And a lot of what this I learned here, this he had all of these things. He was, he just like hella cool. And we had some amazing eggplant. Absolutely amazing. Would I do something like that again? Hell no. When you're young, you stupid. You don't even think about stuff like, this could be a murderer. I could be go to his house and it'd be like 8,000 other men lined up or something. I could be drugged and I didn't think about none of that. But I didn't get that energy from him. He was into me. And I mean, that it was just, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah, Pearl Harbor. And my friends were so mad. They were like, "Where the fuck were you?" I was like, "I was where I was at." And then, that was it. That was it. That was, like, and I couldn't, to this day, sometimes I think about that and it's like, what possessed me to do that? And I don't even know. But I'm telling you, the energy was too strong to ignore. That's the kind of thing, if I hadn't done it, the rest of my life I would have regretted it. The rest of my life I would have been sitting there like, what if? What could have happened, or how might my life be different if I had just had the courage to go with my gut feeling, which was, this is what I need to do right now. This is who I need to be with. I came to Hawaii to meet this man. That's essentially what I was thinking. And of course, it doesn't make any sense. Just telling you all about it now don't make. I'm kind of weirded out about myself, but that's what happened. And it was like the best week of my goddamn life. That's all I can say. It was something like I said, I've never done anything like that. I had never done anything like that before and never did anything like that since. But in that moment, it seemed like what I was supposed to be doing and I went with it. It just felt my gut told me it was the right thing to do. Well, people do that though. They put ketchup on everything. They put ketchup on everything. They put extra salt on everything. They don't even taste your food. They just already salting it. So that's what I have to say. Well, anybody got any questions about the vast amounts of information that I spewed forth? Any questions about it? Identifying this type of dude. And like I said, this is not, a guarantee that he's gonna be uh, trash. I mean, he's not gonna have some trash aspects to him. But I have found over the years that the ratio, percentage, whatever, the chances are much higher that the dude is gonna deliver some stupendous, some guac guac that's gonna be out, that's gonna be memorable, and not memorable in a bad way, but memorable like where you be an old lady like, yeah, whew, I still remember that motherfucker. Do I have any regrets? Mm-mm, not at all. Even shit that I did that I shouldn't have did, I don't regret it because all of those things together made me the person that I am today. I can't complain about it. Your other part told you that was the right thing to do. No, it was that energy that I felt from across. I mean, it was like all these people. I don't know how many of you have been to Hawaii on the in downtown Honolulu. This shit is like being in LA or New York. It's just crowded as hell, except there's palm trees and sand and shit, and the ocean is there. But other than that, it's just like walking down the sidewalk in New York City. There's people fucking everywhere. But out of all of those people, all of that noise, all that crowd, I didn't just to feel that I was just doing what I was doing with my friends, talking after them, but I felt his energy, and that's what made me turn. And soon as I turned, I caught, we locked eyes, and that's how that happened. I don't know. Like I told you, I've never felt nothing like that has ever happened to me since then. That was a one-time shot. Yeah, Oahu, downtown Honolulu. Well, downtown. Oh, my Japanese dude. We'll talk about that another time. Whew. See, you gonna have me calling Rollo over here. Y'all gonna get me all worked up. I have to make a phone call. I don't want to do that because he's on a punishment. I just call him Rollo. He on a timeout. Now he was just a young man. He was in his early 20s. I was 19, and he was a sailor. Shit, I can't remember where he dude was from. Somewhere in the Midwest. It's someplace I would have never been gone, and I would have never met him. Let me just put it that way. But I think every woman should experience that kind of unbridled passion in her life because of the fact that if you live your entire life and you've never really explored the depths of your sexual response, you you're missing something. You're missing a part of yourself. And unfortunately, like I said, you will never have an opportunity to do that if you go out with men who don't have these traits. The guys who are the opposite of these, who are not sensual, who are judgmental, who have low self-esteem, who judge women, who condemn women, who think women have rigid roles. They're not embracing your femininity. They're not embracing your womanhood. Let me put it that way, not feminine. Your womanhood, and instead they want to try to put you in a box that where it makes them comfortable. Because a lot of men, quiet as it kept, are afraid of women. They're afraid of women's sexual power. They're afraid of the power that you have over them, and they're afraid of the fact that you can have multiple O's and they can't. So they know that women, all these laws and stuff and all these rules and religions and stuff are created to control female sexuality because they know that when women really let loose, we can fuck all day and enjoy it all day and keep going all day. They can't do that. So the only way for them to keep a relationship, to where they know what's going on and they know that the kid is really theirs, is to control what women, women's sexuality by shaming women and making laws and making religion and telling women that they can't do certain things, otherwise they're sluts and hoes and all this kind of stuff here. But you got a man who doesn't think like that. Um, you're going to be able to explore who you are, that side of yourself, and embrace all of it. And so, you will get to be your complete person. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Tara. Times have changed. Like I said, wouldn't do anything like that now. But you know, at that time it just seemed like the right thing to do. And I do not regret it. I am happy I did it. And were the circumstances the same at the age, I would do it again. I'm telling you guys don't, I can't even really describe that feeling. That energy. It was like this heat. It's like, how you gonna feel somebody from across the thing, 30 people between you or more, and just mobs of people, and you feel this energy like on the back of your head that causes you to turn around and lock eyes with somebody who's like way over there some damn where. Just staring at me. And I don't even know how long he'd been staring at me. But whatever it was, he had marshaled his energy and zeroed in on my ass. And so that was that. And we stayed together that whole week. That whole week. So, think about this, you guys. Think about it. And as you start going on, yeah, he sure did. And it's nothing like a young man in his 20s who's a fit specimen from being in the service. And yeah, dude was putting it down. I was like, whew, I need a break. I need a rest. But you think about, as you start, you guys going out, you on your swipey things, you dating people and all this stuff, you're gonna be talking about stupid stuff like what movies you like and all that kind of stuff. You get into that motherfucker's head and you ask him some real questions that's gonna be here and observe how he handles himself. I'm telling you, there's nothing worse than a man who's a dainty eater. He's like and cutting his food into these little morsels, and he's, okay, what you trying to do? You trying to put on pretense? You putting on airs, or is that really who you are? You that pristine and dainty? I can't be with no dainty ass man. I cannot. I cannot. Dudes who drink beer and they ask for a glass. What the fuck is your problem? Dainty fuck? Get out of here. You're supposed to drink out the can or the bottle like a real man. What's wrong with you? Shit, I'm a woman and I do that. So what you little be somebody with you a man with a glass? Freak. Men who drink mixed drinks with umbrellas in them. You fucking freak. What's wrong with you? You part girl. Stop that. Get you a shot like a real man. Whiskey or some shit. Some hen. Something, like put some hair on your chest. Sitting up there with an umbrella drink. That would make me slap the shit out of somebody. They would suck in bed. How you gonna do that? That would just be, ooh, I would be turned off. It's like, God damn it, you more of a girl than me. We wasn't having mixed drinks. I think that you see a man like Lady Boss is having a mimosa. Don't be a man and go and order a mimosa with me. I will talk about your ass until hell freezes over. You either have champagne or you have orange juice. You don't be mixing the two. That's girly. Don't be doing that shit. Any man listen to this, you didn't know that? Where's your fucking daddy? Why didn't he tell you some stuff about how you present yourself as a man? Presence, remember? Your presence. Your presence is not strong and masculine if you drinking umbrella drinks and mixed drinks and glasses with your beer and cutting your food up into little, oh girl, yes, long fingernails. Oh my God. Ooh, and I'm telling you, and then once it go, and them lips. No. And the other thing they do, the ones that suspect as hell, they buck their eyes. Have you ever seen that? How they look at you? They be looking at you like that and doing their eyes like that. Fuck that shit. I'm out. You are a switch hitter. I don't do switch hitters. Nope, we don't do that. I don't do men with fucked up teeth either. You know, that grill is kind of on the whack side. I can't do that either. I saw somebody on TV. You know, I like to watch Korean dramas, and they had this kid on there. His teeth was all kinds of fucked up. I'm like, why didn't you? Surely this kid was making enough money that you could have fixed his teeth before he started smiling on his camera, looking like that. That don't look right. I don't like that. Nah, they can't do that. Yeah, but that's how they do though. Them switch hitter dudes. They be looking at and looking at people like that. I'm like, you need to keep your eyes in your head and stop that. That's not no. I'm telling you. Yeah, we're not doing that. And I don't like, you can't be wearing pink clothes and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't like all of that. I just want you to look like a dude. Okay? Look like a dude. Conduct yourself like a dude. Walk like a dude. Talk like a dude. Eat like a dude. And people are like, well, you're stereotyping. I don't give a fuck. If there's any confusion and there's some like crossover between me and you, well, see, I'm not a lesbian. I'm not trying to date a woman. You need to be 100% man and I'll be 100% woman. Once you start kind of crossing over and shit, well, then we got a problem. I can't mess with you. I mean, I don't care what people do. This is not to say it's happy. You have to put that caveat in there because people be getting their feelings. I'm not against lesbians, nor am I against gay men. Some of my best friends are lesbians and gays. I don't care about that. I'm telling you, that's not my choice. And so I'm not trying to date that type. But that's what you are. I'm proud of you. One thing, at least they own it. And that's what I appreciate. They ain't like these ones hiding and talking about I'm in the closet and all this kind of stuff. You lost the lawn. Yeah, see, I don't do metrosexual. Men who be getting their nails manicured and stuff and having that man bag and shit, no. What the fuck? Where? Don't you have a wallet? A backpack, maybe? You could have a backpack, especially if you ride a motorcycle. You need, like, you need that kind of like a bag that you put on your motorcycle or something. But you don't be walking around with your man bag like it's a clutch purse, like a woman. The fuck? I saw a dude looking like that, and he just thought he was just looking all kinds of fabulous. I was like, you look like a fool. You don't even know what kind of fool you look like. I just like, I don't know. It's just like these guys. See, I'm just telling you, you guys, you have to think about what makes you. That's gonna bring out the woman in you. What's gonna bring out the passion in you? What's gonna make you feel like this dude is so on the heat from him allows me to be my full female self. That's what you need in order to have a really good sexual experience. You cannot be in a situation where you're doubting who and what he is. Is he like part trying to be a woman like me? Or is he confused about what he's doing? He's got low self-esteem. His dick is wacky. He don't have no glutes. He don't have no pelvic floor muscles. He's just like, rounded shoulders, like he's like got the lowest self-esteem in the world and got a hunchback and shit. Forward head potch. You don't look nobody in the eye. He's always got that shifty-eyed look and everything, and the limp ass handshake and all of that. That doesn't allow you to feel like a woman. You feel like you're confused. That doesn't let you have to put brakes on and monitor yourself and trying to check and say, well, you can't be too much of a woman, because then in comparison it makes him look like even less than a man. You see what I mean? So you as a woman, you have to monitor your womanhood to not let too much of it out, because he can't fucking handle it. You want a man who's all man so you can be all woman and just let all that shit out. Well, I don't want it to be too deep. Like Barry White, that was too much for me. But yeah, I definitely don't like them like light girly voices, squeaky voices. I don't like that shit in women either. I don't want to hear that. Have something going on, some kind of tonal quality to your shit. So a lot of people getting timed out around here today. Lady bosses like, wah, wah. I keep looking every time I look up somebody else's timed out a block. She ain't playing with these people. But you guys, that's what I'm saying. This is there's a big picture here. I may not be explaining it that well. I'm doing my best, but it's part of a big picture of you being able to maximize yourself as a woman in every way possible. And in order to really do that, you're going to be in a relationship with a man. He's supposed to embrace all that you are. She support all that you are, welcome all that you are, and be the yin to your yang. If you got a motherfucker that's half yang too, well, what does that mean? That means that you have to, hide some of yours, so otherwise everything's all out of balance. And so that's what I think is happening a lot of times in these relationships. These men are saying, these weak ass panty wearing punk ass men, well, these women today are so masculine. They're just like the men. That's because you're a little bitch, sir. You're a little bitch. If you weren't such a little bitch, then the woman could relax into her feminine womanhood, and then she could let all of that out. But she can't do that because you're such a punk ass. You so fucking weak. She can't be an all woman because you can't handle it. You don't know what to do with it. Until you are all man, you don't deserve all woman. And you don't waste your time with these dudes. And they be serving you up trash dick. All they be doing is jacking off using your body. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't hitting on nothing. And and then they be mad because you don't give them no booty. It's like, no, you got trash dick. Don't nobody want to fuck you. You tripping. Ain't nobody trying to do that. Wasting my outfits, wasting my lingerie on you. Yeah, yeah, dreads. They well kept and everything and looked, clean. Cause I see some in Jamaica and I'll be like, dude, you need some Prel or something for that shit to wash that up. You never go see some in Jamaica, you won't like them anymore. Trust me. The ones they have here are different. So I don't know. That's anyway. That's my assessment of it. Um, that's how I pick the men that I bring into my bed in my life. And if they don't make the cut, then they get cut off. That's just how it is. I don't want to, waste my time. Especially now, you older shit, you never know when the fuck is gonna be when's gonna be your last fuck. Because people start croaking at 50 these days. And so, shit. I'm not trying to be tapped out and then be mad when I'm dead, looking at my body died in the bed with somebody mad because the dick was trash. It's like my last dick, and it was trash, and now I'm dead and I can't have a do over. That would piss me off. I would haunt this world forever, mad as hell. Did they forget what a man? Tara, I don't think they ever really know. You got to really look at this our society these days. Everybody's these dudes. I'm not gonna call them men. These dudes are on this pimp thing where they're trying to use women. They don't want to be men. They want to be taken care of like the little bitches that they are. And so they looking for a mommy to take care of them and pay the bills and drive them around and feed them and do all the work for them and stuff while they sit on their ass. They're not trying to be men. The concept of them being men is so foreign to them, and they resent women for trying to make them be one. Instead, so they sit around and talk about, well, you single mothers made us like this. No, motherfucker, you made yourself like that. Your mother's job was only to raise you up. Now, your sister, you see, was raised in the same household with the same rules, and she's out there hitting it. So what's your excuse? You just don't want to do nothing. Don't be blaming it on your mother, you piece of trash ass fool. They get on my nerves with that. And then they think that shit is sexy. You sitting online showing your face and bitching, making videos about women and single mothers and stuff. You're a bitch. Just a little fucker. And you sit up there embarrassing your mother like that, disrespecting your family, everybody who's sacrificing everything for your bitch ass, and that's the best you could do? And you think somebody gonna want to be with you. You are ignorant. Not nobody trying to be with your trash ass. You got trash dick, a trash mouth, and a fucked up mind. There's somebody typing Arabic, and we don't know what that says. Girl, that would be a dead angry dead ghost haunting everybody until I got some good ghost stick. you know. And I repeat, you meet a man and he want to talk about who you, how many, your body count. Shut up. You don't say anything. You just ask him, well, why would you want to know that? And then he's gonna say, well, because something, something. They always have some bullshit ass excuse, and you just be like, oh, okay, and then you don't answer. Those of you who confused about that, you'd be like, oh, but I was just trying to be honest. You're an idiot if you do that. You don't never tell a man nothing about some other dick, some other man. You just keep that in your mind, and that should guide all your activities with men. You can't tell a man about another man. Okay, all it's gonna do is send them into a tailspin. They can't handle that. Yeah, I don't want no dainty ass man. I'm telling you. He eating like one pea at a time. Not like I want to put his face in the plate like Ren Tin Tin, but I want him to eat with some gusto. Eat like a man. Let's have some big servings here. And don't you dare just order the salad for lunch. What? He do did that. He said, so I'm gonna have a salad. I said, okay, and what else you having? Oh, I'm just gonna have a salad. And I'm like, okay, this motherfucker here is too dainty for me. So you know me, I had salad and then I had me some food. And he was like, oh, you're gonna eat all that? I sure am. When I worked as a trainer, you know how much calories I burned per day? It was like he was constantly working out for 8 hours a day because every time, you got to show the clients the exercise. So I'm constantly, every hour I'm doing like 10 minutes worth of weight training, 10 minutes of weight training, 10 minutes of weight training, every hour for 8 or 9 hours. And some of them, like the beginners, you have to do it with them because they don't know what they're doing. So then I'm doing a whole workout. So I was constantly exercising then, and I burned up a lot of calories. So I ate a lot. I ate a lot. And I needed to because I was trying to keep my booty in place. It was one thing to be muscular and cut and all of that, but I wasn't trying to lose my figure. So I ate. I'm just saying, I'm using that as an example, but you know what I mean? They just eat all dainty. They eating all dainty and just like, mm-mm. I can't eat. I can't be with men like that. The ones that fried chicken, they cut it with a knife and fork instead of picking up and eating it with their hand. Stuff like that. So, you guys have any questions? Anybody got something else they want to say? You know, we didn't. Somebody had asked me about the curved or straight. Did I answer that question? Maybe I started answering it. I don't know. Probably got distracted. So let me just say this. Fix my hair. It's just looking wild. Um, I met this guy that had one, and I just couldn't fuck with him because this just flipped me out. There's a name for that. It's a disease. But anyway, his shit like went straight, and then it took a left turn. I'm serious. It was like a road that turned to the left, and I'd never seen no shit like that. And I'm wondering, okay, how does this work? Now the ones where it kind of goes up, it kind of gets on the G spot, so that works out okay. That works out very well, as a matter of fact. But the one, that turn to the side shit, I'm like, oh no, I can't fuck with you. No, 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 that's not gonna work for me. I didn't even know what to do with that, and I'm just looking at it, and that was the moment I decided that this relationship was over. We're not gonna go any further here, sir. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, I knew it was something. It was something disease. Now, girl, it was like flashing red lights and sirens. That's what that was. It's like, oh, this nigga's dick is too all fucked up. I didn't know at the time. I didn't know that's what it was. I had to find that out later. I just knew his dick was bent, and I knew that I wasn't fucking with him. That's all I knew. So I said, "Well, I'm gonna leave now." And he's like, "Oh, everybody always leaves." I'm like, mm. Oh, now I have to order some more, Lacey, after COVID is over. I'll let everybody know. I mean, probably order about 50 copies. But that's why it's not, we can't get any, they're not printing any because of COVID. So, Amazon can't order them, and I can't order them either. And all the ones I had about 20 here, but they're all, they're all sold out. It's messed up. Yeah, he said everyone always leaves. I'm like, I know why, sir. He was real nice though, And another thing too, I'll let you walk out. Let me just tell you this: before you even think about fucking a dude, if he can't kiss right, a man should be able to put a kiss on you that makes your toes curl and your heart race and takes your breath away. If he ain't kissing you like that, you don't want to fuck with him. Sometimes even if they do kiss you like that, you don't want to fuck with them. Let me tell you about this. So I got another side story before I leave. This mother, he was dusty. This dude, he was dusty. I didn't want another part I was trying to do with him. You had a question, Leandra? Okay, I'll get you in a second after I finish my story. And he Sagittarian, they crazy. And I already knew he was just useless. He was just stupid. There was nothing about this man. I mean, we would hang out, like as friends and stuff, but not. I had no interest in being with him like that. But this one day, he was at my house, and my little kitchen. Apartment kitchens aren't that big, and so he's like leaned up against the stove. I mean, the kitchen sink, and I'm at the stove. So the stove is here, and then he's like here, leaned up against the sink. Maybe I don't know, 5 steps away. And so I needed to get to the sink. I was draining, I think I was draining some pasta. So I had this hot, the pot. And so I'm like, you need to move so I could, pour this water out. So he steps to the side. So I poured it to the counter and I sit the counter down. He grabs me and gives me this kiss. And honey, I saw Jesus. It was scary. Okay. Cause in my mind, I knew he was a not dusty, ain't shit fool. Okay. There's nothing I ever would want to be bothered with in this lifetime or the next. I had already made that determination about him, so I slid him over to the friend zone, and there he stayed. But he tried to, try to change things up, so he just gonna lay this kiss on me. I admit that kiss was magical. That kiss was like, ooh, God, I was like dizzy and shit. I was like, what in the world what just happened? But I had enough presence of mind to know that was it. That's all it was going to be. And so I pushed him off of me. And I was like, you have a lot of fucking nerve. You don't be putting your lips on me, nigga. We ain't like that. So I had all my bravado and everything. But, inside I was like, whew, whew, what was that? It was terrible. It was terrible. So I was like, but I knew that was not, because he didn't have these other things. He had his other qualities. He ate, he had the eating, but he didn't have the sense, the presence. He didn't have any of those things. So, I don't know what kind of shit he would have been delivering up. I do know though that he could kiss really, 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 really well. We had that kind of connection, but that was it. I cut them off there. So, how do you find a magic stick? Well, your mom. A lot of what I talked about tonight will help you weed out the men who aren't. Now, like I said, I cannot promise that because a guy has all of these things, that is going to be the magic stick. I'm going to tell you, though, that the odds are very high that it will be. If he's not, he's going to be an anomaly. Okay? Because if he's got all this shit working for him, dude is on hit. Okay, he got his shit together, and that's like a manly man. That's what you want. And so, them kind of dudes, you got that kind of, you know, uh, uh, response from him. The sensual responsiveness, the way he carries himself, the manliness about him. Those are the dudes you get in bed and you have a good goddamn time. Okay. Now I don't know if it's magic or not, but it will be good. Okay, it won't be the shit where you get up mad. Most likely you will want to repeat a repeat performance. That's why you don't think these kind of dudes are in demand. There don't be a whole bunch of, they don't be getting a whole bunch of complaints about women. They can have multiple women because they be putting it down like that. That's why the guys that don't have no woman and can't get one and can't fuck are mad because dudes like this have all the women. But I'm telling you, don't get mad, clowns. Instead, watch what they do and learn from them and emulate. Okay? Learn how to develop yourself as a man that a woman will want to fuck with. You sitting around online crying and whining and stuff like a little bitch. That shit is a turn off. Ain't no woman's coochie gonna get wet over some whining ass motherfucker. You tripping if that's what you think. That's gonna would make a woman want you. No woman wants a man who whines and cries like a 2-year-old. And that's what you do. You American women, you don't make women like they used to. When is your trash ass like a man and you can't fix shit? You don't know how to build nothing. You ain't developed nothing. Okay, so where are you like the men of yesteryear talking about the women of yesteryear? Fuck you. I want to see you do some shit. Go farm something, grow something, build something, and then you might be able to say something. All you do is sit on your computer and play video games and whine and cry about what women don't do. Fuck you. BOE, I don't know. What does BOE mean? I should know that, but I can't recall right now. But so that's what I can tell you about that. Uh, your mom. Okay. There's a lot of information here, you guys that who came in late. You would have to go and listen to me. I went through a lot of traits and qualities that a man who is a fabulous lover, who would be a fabulous lover for you, is going to possess. And if you find a guy that has these things, and this is how he rolls, this is how he presents himself, he's most likely going to be putting it down in the bedroom. You'll have a really, really good connection with him, and so that also will make it better. Because you guys will be like, spiritually, emotionally in sync, and that makes it a lot better. Because the ones who are, like I said, technically proficient, I mean, they've read the books, they know what to press, what buttons to press, and what to do, but it's cold. It's not, there's no real passion to it. It's like you fucking a robot. And so they don't really, they're hiding parts of themselves. They don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to really show you anything. And so, yeah, it feels, feeling there is there, but what really turns women on is this. So this and this for us have to be working for this to come into picture and to really get the full benefit of it. We need all three things working in sync: mind, heart, and coochie. And if you got a man who can't appeal to your mind and your heart, and he's only focused on it's cold, it's mechanical. That's when they get done. You be like, ew. And you feel lonely and unsatisfied and empty after that kind of sexual experience. And that's what I'm trying to get you to avoid, because too much of that, it damages your self-esteem. And you start questioning yourself. So we don't want you to do that. I want you to stop, think about what I said here, and what kind of start judging men with this kind of criteria before you sleep with them. I ain't saying you got to marry them all, because I sure didn't. Mr. Sailor dude, I saw him in San Francisco one time downtown on Market Street, and it was the scariest shit, because by then I had my daughter and stuff. I was marrying my daughter with me, pushing her in the stroller and stuff, and he comes bouncing up to me, and I couldn't breathe. I was like, oh my God, because I didn't think I was ever going to see him again. And he trying to get things picked up where they left off. I didn't feel the same. That was a once in a lifetime situation. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't. I didn't feel the same anymore. Okay, we got a question. Okay, Leandra, where'd you put your question back in here? Because I don't know what you said. I'm dating a great guy, 3 years, but we're both divorced. He doesn't want to be married, and I'm not sure I do either. But something about him not wanting marriage messes with my head. Should I let it go? You don't want to be married either. What's wrong with you? Why is that a problem? You say you're not sure you don't want it either. So why do you want him to want something that you don't? So that you can just say no and you can be the one in control? Come on, Ev. They don't work like that. Either you guys could both be on the same page. You know how many seniors are together that didn't remarry because they want to get more money on their retirement pensions and Social Security if they're single. And if they live together, they don't get married. So marriage, I mean, what is the big deal about marriage? Why do you feel like you need to be married? Marriage ain't all of that, so I don't understand the problem. But this is bothering me because you say you don't want to be, you're not sure you do either, but then you're pressuring him to want to. It's to the point where you're going to let it go and you admit that he's a great guy. Evelyn, Deb to Evelyn, don't fuck this up. Okay, enjoy it for what it is. So marriage is really not the big deal here. Be with the man. You ain't having no damn babies, right? So then why you need to be married? Just be with him. That's better. Okay, so she says his eggplant is no good. I'm wait, disappointed, but want that. Should I put a burger in the snake? uh, uh, I don't know, Leandra. Because you still so young. Shit, even at my age, I can't do it. I want good eggplant. I just saw it. I want it. I want it all. I want it all if I'm gonna be bothered with you. I'm not gonna just settle. So, don't get stuck on the fact that he's a celebrity because it's like, let's look at that what's in it for me thing. What's he bringing to your life that's benefiting you? If you feel like you're sacrificing a part of yourself just to be with him, just because he got a name and people recognize him and stuff, I mean, what is that? You're quite talented at getting your needs met, girlfriend. I've never met anyone more resourceful. So for you, this is just a stop on the train. Do not sacrifice your little self and all your joy and wonder and all the wonderful things I know about you just to be with him because he's a celebrity. Okay? If you came in here sad, that would mess me up. You could get Leandra, you have the ability to get that from someone else. I'm quite confident. Okay? It doesn't have to be him. You have some skills that are unmatched. So just let that go. Find you somebody else. Because a lot of these dudes, he's the one that's hiding. He's hiding. That's why it's no good. These are he doesn't want to be connected to anybody. He doesn't want it to be deep. He doesn't want to be vulnerable emotionally. So he's hiding part of himself. So he's never going to have any kind of love making with that man that's meaningful. It's not going to happen. Yeah, the passion makes all the difference in the world. You got a dude who tells you, he calls you up and he says, I just want to hear your voice. I really missed you. I can't wait to see you. I was thinking about you all day. You know what that does to your heart? How does that make you feel? Especially he means it, not just talk some, clown ass conversation. He really means this. There's not a woman in this world who would not be moved by a man who had the courage to say something like that to her. And then he follows through. He wishes, his hugs are warm. When he wraps his arms around you, you feel safe and secure. He kisses you like you the most precious thing on the fucking planet. When it's in you in the bed, he delivers like 9,000 because that's important to him that you be satisfied. He ain't trying to have you wandering looking for nothing. He wants to be your supplier of all that you need, all that you want, all that you imagine that you need or want. That's coming from me, chick. Okay, so he's gonna be Johnny on the spot. So no, Leandra, my love, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna get that from someone else. Knowing you gonna work it around some way where you gonna buy your own. I have big faith in you, Leandra. I think you can do whatever it is that you set your mind to. You do not have to stop here. Okay, this is nice. It got you in a certain social circle now. Keep it moving. All right. You don't have to stop for that. Hmm. Yeah, he had to let it. Yeah, but see, that's then he's not. Then it doesn't count because if he's a Dusty, then he's not these things that I'm saying here. He doesn't have the presence and he doesn't have the attitude, which is also a component of it. His attitude of success, accomplishment, professionalism, learning, all of this kind of stuff of being a man who's a resource for you. If there's something, that's what I used to love about my husband. It was way before we got married. The dude was just so fucking smart. I mean, he was a pilot. I mean, he just knew so much stuff, and he was very unassuming kind of guy. You would never know that by looking at him. He's not a braggart, just your best friend ever. And then, but every time I asked him about something, he always knew the answer. You think I have answers? I used to go to him for information, and he always had answers to everything. The only thing he never knew, he didn't know how to do though, was pop popcorn. I had to teach him that. Cause oof, that was a hot mess. I don't know what he was doing, but he all he knows something. He just everywhere he went, he had a book in his hand. He was constantly expanding his mind. That shit was a fucking turn on. Like he would watch TV sometimes. We sit there and chill and watch TV. But in general, he was reading. He was always learning something. I could, that's why I married him. He was just so fucking just amazing. Just amazing. So that's why I'm still single. I haven't met somebody who can even hold a candle to him. Plus the eggplant was on hit too. I told you that's how he got me to marry her. He just fucked me into submission. I couldn't say no. I was weak. But yeah, that's so he was if he had part of it, but he was a dusty, then he's not here. That's what I'm saying. He's gonna have to have all of these things, and that kind of level of respect and admiration from you in order for you to open up fully to him to be your 100% woman, and then he's gonna have your respect and admiration and all of that because he's being 100% on hit man. And so then when y'all get together in bed, it's just magic. Yeah, his popcorn. Oof, I don't know what that was. He didn't know you're supposed to put the top on, and he was had it in there like I guess like he was trying to fry the grape. I don't know what he was doing, but I was looking at that. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm making popcorn. I'm like, no, you're not. You just burning some shit. Move over. So I dumped that out, and I made him some popcorn. He's like, oh, teach me how to do that. That's the only thing I ever taught him. Oh, and I taught him how to make uh, etouffee and some chicken salad. He didn't know how to do. It might, the stuff I could cook. He cooked too, but well, cooking was different. When a man has beanie, you gonna feel it. Yeah, exactly. Even if they not alpha, they have alpha traits. But they just so fucking just manly and confident. I don't know. It just lets you relax. You don't have to feel like you have to do everything. You don't have to be in charge. You don't have to make sure everything's taken care of like so many of us have to do. As single parents and stuff and wives and whatever. You got that kind of man in your life. Those women always look a lot younger because they're not stressed out trying to handle everything. They dude is on it. He takes care of the household. He takes care of his woman. He takes care of everything, the bills, all the stuff. She does what she's supposed to do, cook and clean or whatever. I mean, take care of the kids and whatnot. She does her little thing, but she's not feeling like that's her responsibility. It's not her responsibility. Her responsibility is to take care of herself and he take care of his children and then to love him. And that's it. That's all she has to do. He does everything else because he's that dude. And that's if you're married. Now, if you're not married, there's going to be different standards. Yes, thanks, Tara. Yeah, I can't deal with stupid dudes. Oh my God, that's my number one turn off. Soon as they do or say something stupid, I just can't. I can't with you. They try to come off like they know something that they don't really know, and they be talking, trying to use big words and regurgitate something somebody told them when they read online or something. They trying to sound like they have authority on it, and here you are, been doing it for years, and that what they talking about is some trash. I don't ever let on. I just listen. I just like, oh, that sounds interesting. Really? And then I just leave them alone after that. So I hope you guys enjoyed your late night girls' night out. This is the kind of stuff we can't really, it's too hard to talk about, during the early hours when so many youngsters are still online. So I made it be a little bit later, in the evening, just so that we could have some. All the little kids are in bed in their little cribs and stuff, and they're already sleeping, so the moms don't have to be, worrying about taking care of them. They sleep. You can just relax with your glass of wine and enjoy the girl talk. That's it. That's what I wanted everybody to be able to do. Yeah. I mean, some beta men are okay, the higher level ones, not the bottom ones, closer to the other end. But um, he didn't know how to make popcorn. He never had to, not I'm not talking about the microwave kind. I'm talking about the kind on the stove, real popcorn. Interable relationships are popular on YouTube where women take care of severely disabled men. This is my what the fuck face. Well, Tracy, I see it like this. I don't know if this is true because I've never talked to those women, but from my analysis of what they say and the situation, to me, it's just like women who go and find a man that's locked up behind bars to be with. To me, it's kind of the same thing. They want to feel like they're in a relationship with somebody who can't really give them a full relationship. So there's a distance there. You see what I mean? Whether it's a physical distance or an emotional distance, it's the same. There's the woman is in charge. The woman sets the pace. She decides when and how she sees him. Even though there's service, like when they're in prison, they put money on their books. They go see him. They send them shit and stuff. They're doing services and stuff for him. They can talk about this relationship they can have. They talk about how much they love him and all this stuff. So they get all those benefits of a relationship, that feeling and everything. But the man is never going to really put the demands on them, the emotional demands that they would if they had a relationship with a peer that was capable, full bodied, and out of prison. There's parameters around both of those situations. That's the way I've always looked at it. Now, like I said, I've never talked to any of those women, so I don't know for sure. But from my observations and the stuff I've read, that's what I'm really good, I think, at coming to the bottom line of stuff. And that, to me, is the bottom line. The situation is exactly the same. There's distance there. They don't have to be that vulnerable. They run around and do shit, but they're not emotionally vulnerable to these men at all. At all. The live, once we're done, the live YouTube processes it. I think they take about 20 minutes, and then it's available. Now I don't know. They messing up with the chat though. The chats aren't really showing up the way that they're supposed to. They're not showing until days, like a week later or something. I don't know what's going on. That's a new thing. I'm not really feeling that, but that's what's been going on. Yeah, Tracy. Like I said, I'm not. I can't say for a fact, but that's some commonalities that I see. And so they get to pretend, they play at having a relationship. Everybody says, "Oh, you got a man," but what do they really have? Okay, what do they really have? Oh no, you don't have to do that, Leandra. You good. You take good care of me, girl. I want you to do something for yourself. You do really you treat me nice. I don't have no complaints. She does. She treats me like seriously, like I am really her auntie, and so it's she's so cute. But yeah, you don't have to do all that. But you guys, I really enjoyed having you and sharing my thoughts and experiences with you, my depth stories and all that. We'll have to do this again, later on, like in the fall, maybe the next one. So we have some other topic to discuss. I'll think of something. With when I got sick and everything so behind, I didn't get a chance to put together my boot camp yet. I wanted to do it. Originally, I was going to schedule it for about 2 weeks from now, but that is so not going to happen. We'd probably be more like maybe early October before I get my act together because I think I'm still, kind of recovering. I'm still sleeping a lot. But we'll see how that works. But you guys are so wonderful and everybody's so generous. Thank you very much for coming. And I enjoyed talking to you guys and laughing. And we'll be back on Tuesday. The Sunday sermon will go up on Sunday, but that's a recording, so you won't see me. But you'll see me again live on Tuesday for the next What the Fuck Tuesday. If you have a question and you want to submit it in time for the show, you better hurry up. The link is in the show description down below. That's where you'll find it. I appreciate everybody. Thanks, Lady Boss, and everybody for your donations and your support. Love you all very, very much. You are the best audience ever. I'll see you guys real, real soon. Bye bye.